Previously on the Simply Human podcast.
I mean, the next thing I remember is standing in a shower in a puddle of my own wee, staring at this sort of monument to what I had once been and having this complete shell of body, and I didn't know who I was. And all I wanted was to be left alone and to be held at the same time, and that defined me for years because I was just broken.
It's episode 243 of the Simply Human podcast with your hosts, Mark and Rick. Two human beings being human. Our goal is to help you understand how humans are designed to eat, sleep, move, and enjoy, and how you can start living more like a human today. On today's show, it is Jen Broyles. Jen is a holistic coach, a SOMA Breathwork Instructor, and essential oil specialist who helps individuals restore and optimize their health by calming the nervous system and addressing the root cause of their systems. Jen has a specialty in gut health, chronic stress, and anxiety, recognizing that imbalances in the gut and an overstimulated nervous system lead to imbalances throughout the mind, body, and spirit. Jen is on. She's great. We just interviewed her. She was in Dallas. You could have just gone in person and sat with her.
I mean, it's probably like an hour drive from where I am, and it's like a 3-hour drive from you. Or we can just do it on the internet.
In her home, you could have knocked on the door and said, "Hi, I'm Rick. I'm here to do the interview with you."
Good evening. We're here to set up. Where do I put all my equipment?
How are you, Rick? Your cat is dead.
My cat is not dead. Stop this.
It ate paint and died.
So I put the laptop to record this on top of a box.
Dragging montage.
Like a big cardboard. I keep this cardboard box, right? Put the laptop on top of there to make the angle right. And I keep this box on a shelf in my garage. Well, on the other side of this shelf, I had all the paint cans, like 4 or 5 paint cans from what I painted recently. And when I took the box off the shelf to set up to record, the shelf, I didn't realize like it was all the weight was now on one side, and they all dumped over.
The laptop was keeping the balance.
No. The laptop has nothing to do with it yet. It's the box. The box was on the left side of the shelf. The paint cans were on the right, and it kept them from tilting. When I took the box off, the whole shelf went down. We got paint all over my car.
Why was your paint closed?
It was closed, but like when it hit the ground and the lid came off, like paint went everywhere.
What cuss word did you say? And don't make me bleep. Just SOB or the F word.
Son of an MF and B, as I probably go to. That's what I screamed out in the yard when I was taking. I just bought this house, and the people who left here left this super rickety like shelf in the garage, and I couldn't put anything in there. So I'm trying to take it apart, and I'm trying to bang the nails down, and I stepped right on a nail, and I'm out in the front yard Saturday like 2 in the afternoon.
Home Alone style when he like stepped.
Son of an MF and B. My kids are right there. The neighbors are across the street. They're like, "You all right?" It's like, stepped on a nail. Gonna be okay. Just got my tetanus shot. So
I think we're gonna be okay here. They have a thin candy shell.
But got paint all over the side of my car, and I'm like sprinting inside to get.
Like tonight?
Yeah, like 2 minutes before we started recording. That's why I was not ready at 8:00. I would have been ready at probably like 8:05, but like at 8:05 is when I was like, "Oh crap! I gotta get my cardboard box." And it took me 10 minutes, but I got paint all over the side of my car. I had to wipe it off. And then, so when we're doing the interview, a little bit of time travel talk, I noticed that the garage door right here is open. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, there's paint on the floor of the garage. It's the garage floor. I don't care. I'm not cleaning that up. But I'm like, oh my gosh, if this cat, I'm not worried that she's going to eat it. I'm worried that she's going to walk all through it and then get paint everywhere. So I go out in the garage and I open the garage and I see her, and she is right by the big puddle of paint. And I grab her and look at her paws, and she doesn't have paint on them. So I was like,
you don't have to refer to her as a she. All cats are she.
No, this is my
all
best
cats,
animal friend.
All cats are girls, so you don't have to.
No, that's not true. There are some male cat. How do you think kitten babies are born?
No, cats are girls.
Mark, when the daddy cat really loves the mama cat, he tries to jump over her back.
I don't think
he can't quite get over there. Over and over again.
Love is a factor in the cat.
Hey, listen.
Hold on. Are you saying what's your cat's name? Sheba?
Yeah, you're close. It's Gilly.
So rank
from
Gilly.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones inspired cat name, Gilly.
Overrated. Gilly.
Goodbye.
Rank Gilly, Bill, Bob, Yoda.
Okay, so you don't even know all of the names of the pets. The dog I had growing up that I don't know, I was probably like 2 when we
Bill.
got him, and he died the night before I took my SATs. That was Bill.
Bill, not Bob.
Billy.
Right. Poor Bill.
The dog I got in college, well, Mark and I worked at a TV station, and they had this thing on Fridays where they bring this like dog in from like an animal shelter, the pet of the week. And I adopted the pet of the week. He was Ron.
But
and then Ron went to go live with my parents at the farm because he had a little bit better life.
Oh, that wasn't a euphemism. That they
no, he did physically go to live with them there.
Your parents,
and then I had
barely.
Yeah, and then I had Yoda. Yoda is a very small dog, and he is currently living with my parents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he has a good life up there at the farm. They spoil the crap out of him. They take him on car rides, and he runs around all over the place. It's supposed to be like a temporary thing for like a week or two, and their dog had just died like maybe 3 months before that, and they like fell in love with him. So I was like, you know what, this dog has a way better life up there. So now I have the cat Gilly,
and it's
so ranked.
Does it like
not it
different than a dog? Does it come up to you and like snuggle you?
She is extremely affectionate. That's why I like her. She's not like like you have this stereotypical idea of cats. They're very aloof and they can kind of give or take you.
They're just giving you the cat bird like every.
Yeah, she is extraordinarily affectionate. Like if I'm sitting down on the couch, odds are, oh, you know what? Here's a cute picture.
She's just right next to you. Is that how that works?
No, she's not right next to me. She's on like sitting on me.
Sitting on your face. Look at that cat.
That's how she does. She just
that's right up in her neck.
Right here. It just sits right here, like across my chest.
When you wake up in the morning, is she like right by you?
No, once I get I guess her like sleeping cycle. When I wake up, she's not in the bed, but like once I get up and start getting ready, she comes in the bathroom and
she's out
around and
she's out having casual neighborhood cat sex.
Hey, you know what?
Gotta
let your freak flag fly, baby.
Speaking,
you can figure out how to get out.
Speaking of dragging, or
speaking of neighborhood casual cat sex, that's where I wanted to go.
Of a story. So speaking of not wanting your cat to walk through the paint and get it all everywhere, the dog that I murdered a few years ago, sweet poor Rudy, who I had to take in and have put down, like the final.
That's a joke for 3 people right there.
The final straw, like, yeah, it's probably time. He's up all night. He's obviously lost
in distress.
The final straw was we came home and he had like crapped everywhere and had walked all in it and had walked all over the whole house.
Footprints on the ceiling.
That was like there. It's like, okay, it's time. Also, you need to be punished for this in some way. This is capital punishment.
Rudy, this is so far beyond the pale. We're just gonna give you the dog electric chair. You just put his paws in the toaster.
throw in the bathtub. Okay.
Cruelty to animals, Mark. It's so hilarious. Tell us more about how cruelty to animals is great.
And now Jen Broyles. But for real. So let's actually get to Jen Broyles. We're booked into March. It's December. It's just fun. We talked about her birthday, her story, the pharmaceutical industry, mouth breathing, nitric oxide, intermittent hypoxia, the untethered soul. We have a tip of the week at the end of this too. So stay tuned for that. It's short and sweet. Here's Jen. Okay, so you go by Jen.
Yes.
With one N.
With one N.
My Mark's wife is a Jen with 2 N's.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Rogers with no D. It's no D in the Rogers. Just
no one has a D.
A lot of
Rogers have a D.
A lot of people. Well, I'm Mark. I'm in Abilene, Texas, in West Texas. Rick is in the Dallas area. Where are you?
I'm in Dallas.
I'm in Fort Worth, to be more precise. So, all right, we got a full Texas show going on.
I know. Who knew? That's so awesome. Yeah, I'm in like Central Dallas, like Lovers in the Tollway area.
Oh my God. You are like in Dallas.
In Dallas.
Yeah. So we grew up. I don't know if I'm pointing. Am I pointing to Rick?
I don't know.
No,
You're no.
We
somewhere one of these Hollywood squares
in Plano. is where we grew up.
Okay.
So are you from the Dallas area?
No, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia,
Okay.
and then moved. I've been in Dallas for 15 years now, but yeah.
Well, very cool. We're in the same time zone. So the last interview we had a week ago, Luce Brett is an author and she's in London. She woke up at 2 a.m.
No, 1:30 in the morning.
to record with us. And
So, Jen, what we're asking is, can we hang up and call you back at 1:30?
Are you that committed to?
Wow, that is a commitment right there, no doubt.
The show's not that great. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't wake up at 1:30 and I'm on the show. So.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we will have already recorded a more formal intro. So we're just gonna we're
very
recording.
Formal. We'll have top hats and monocles. The whole nine yards.
Yes, you guys seem very formal.
Yeah. So we are gonna just jump right in and. Oh wait, my wife is. Yeah, you can come in.
You're looking for permission to pass into the bedroom, huh?
Yes, that's how it works in my household. We're gonna play the birthday game.
Okay. Jen, we do this thing. We have no idea the origin. We just started doing it like years ago. Mark and I each get 2 guesses at your birthday. Not the year, just the month and the day.
I feel good about this one.
Just say yes or no. No, you have total poker face. We don't want you to give it away. Let the record reflect. I am the only one who has nailed the birthday. I am 1 out of probably 400. Mark is 0 out of 400. So he's going to insist I go first to lessen the odds or to increase the odds for him.
Gotcha.
I'm going to go June 24th. No.
Okay. I'm going to say. What's today?
Yeah, the watch will tell you.
Let's see. It's 8. I'm going to go.
Carry the 2.
April 23rd.
Nope.
One more guess each.
September 9th. September 9th. Mark?
I'm going to say your birthday is tomorrow, December 10th.
Hey, you know what?
Nope.
Okay.
All right, what is it?
All right. It's November 8th.
Oh, so you just had it
I
a
did.
month ago.
Yes.
How about that? My wife is a November birthday. So what astrological sign does that make you?
That is Scorpio.
That's
Yeah.
coming over. Our audio only listeners have no idea. I'm doing there.
That is right. That's right.
Hey,
but
I hate to momentarily jump off here for like 2 seconds, but my door to the garage is open and I think my cat got in there and I just spilled a bunch of paint in the garage floor.
Oh, maybe it will die.
Let me
Then you don't have to feed it anymore.
It's
That
not an
is
it, it's a she,
terrible.
and she's my best friend. And so give me like 2 seconds. You
What?
carry on. Let me
I'm
make sure
your
she's
best
not.
friend.
Let me make sure she's
Go
not
save
eating
your
paint.
cat.
I'll be right back.
You
Act natural.
okay? Whatever. His long hair. So Rick and I have grew up together. Okay. So what we're gonna have you do now is kind of give you your version of your story, right? So like,
Yeah.
how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah.
Starting
Great
in Atlanta.
What now?
Starting in Atlanta
Starting in Atlanta. Yes. How long you got?
on November 8th.
So I really went down the path of natural health when I was trying to solve some health challenges that I was facing at the time. And I think that's so true for so many of us in the natural health world, is we're trying to help ourselves or trying to help a loved one. And we've gone the conventional route and seen all the doctors and tried all the medicines and done all the tests and still haven't found the solution. And that was really the case for me. I was dealing with some digestive issues that had become chronic. I mean, this is years and years of gut issues that stemmed into hormone imbalances and anxiety and all these other things. And it's funny and ironic because at the time I was working in pharmaceutical sales and selling the drugs and really believed in that model. And I'm not saying that, it's, a no-go, but like I have come to this like point of, natural, like integrative medicine at this point. There's a time and a place for medicine, but there's also so much opportunity with healing naturally. And when I was on the healing journey. I felt I had exhausted all of my options in the conventional avenue. And so I started doing my own reading and research, really starting with nutrition. And through that, dove into the world of functional medicine, integrative medicine, and holistic health, and just kind of found a passion there, and went back to school and studied integrative nutrition, and then ventured into the world of essential oils and ultimately breath work. And so now I really offer clients this holistic, system of healing from a nutrition standpoint and a breath work, stress management, emotional healing standpoint, and then also using like natural plant medicines as well.
Very cool. You mentioned the pharmaceutical industry, and I made an little note to ask you about this. So I recently read a book.
Add that to the bragging montage.
And I learned that the root word for pharma can mean cure, but can also mean poison.
Wow.
How about that? So you went from that world where, and I don't know, I always talk about the book Anti-Fragile on the show. I'm this huge Anti-Fragile fan, and he has a whole chapter in there about what iatrogenics, or intervening when you don't need to. And you said it. There are times when, thank God, we have medicine, the polio vaccine, all the vaccines that we have that have like wiped out all the things. We have medical intervention. Your arm gets chopped off. They could sew it back on. A tiger rips your arm off in a tiger zoo. They can sew it back on, sort of, right? But there are a lot of other things that we are just like looking for ways. And because the pharmaceutical industry is a business like model, there are a lot of things that people will say that we don't need to intervene here, like the whole antibiotics thing, how we've like overprescribed antibiotics. It's like, oh, you have a cough, you have a runny nose, yeah, Z-Pak, antibiotics, and not understanding what the global effect of that is. Can you speak a little bit about being in that industry and then moving out, and then kind of what the dysfunction is and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the fact that you brought up antibiotics. That's what triggered the juice for me. And yeah, I mean, I even, as a child getting, strep throat and ear infections and all these things growing up, you get an antibiotic for this, an antibiotic for that. And then in college, I got prescribed a really strong antibiotic for skin issues. And that just like threw me out of balance. And at the time, I did not know that's what had caused it, because I'm 20 years old and I don't know anything about medicine. I just kind of trust my doctors, and we didn't even really know a whole lot of microbiome at the time. But that is one example of just overprescribing medications and not using them when they are really needed, because we're seeing this whole issue now of antibiotic resistance when you really need it and it doesn't work. I sold cardiovascular drugs and diabetes drugs, and I saw firsthand, and even frustrations from the doctors, that it wasn't solving the problem with their patients. It was slapping a Band-Aid on it. It was masking a symptom. It was managing somewhat the symptoms. These are lifestyle diseases that we're dealing with today. These chronic conditions, those are lifestyle diseases that truly can be prevented and reversed if you change your lifestyle, if you clean up your diet, if you reduce your stress, if you do all of these things that, yes, they take time and they take intention and they take creating change in your life. Mm-hmm. But we don't have the drugs that actually cure these ailments. And so, even, when I look back to some of the drugs that I was prescribed without even having a full consultation with a doctor, I would just be handed antidepressants or birth control, that wasn't actually addressing the root cause of the issue. Really ask, well, why is this happening? Why, what is the cause of this? Let's address that. No one talked about diet. No one talked about my lifestyle at all. It was just take this medication, right. And that's where I think we're seeing the problem.
So my wife took, now I can't remember the name of the medicine. I don't know if it was an antibiotic or what, but it was the skin thing that she took like in high school. Mm-hmm. And when she had her wisdom teeth removed, when she was like, I don't know, 30 something, there was this not amoxicillin. They wouldn't take that. That's like a pen. Anyway, there was like this line, like this dark line around her wisdom teeth, and the doctor was like, "Yeah, that's from. Did you take such and such when you were in high school? Yeah, it's from that."
Wow.
Like what? Like
Wow.
that's like if something is affecting like where your bones, like, golly, that seems crazy. And the other thing that always drives me crazy is like the whatever the reflux or heartburn medication. Like no more heartburn.
Oh my gosh.
Totally mask the
Yeah.
reason why your body is going, no, please, stop
doing this.
Like, shut
Yeah.
that off.
That's the modern American way is, hey, give me a pill for it. Like you see how many people talk about how like, man, if there was a pill that I could take that would make me lose 30 pounds. Well, there's not a pill you can take, but you can do other things.
Your behavior.
Like,
yeah, you can do other things. And yeah, people want a magic pill. And unfortunately, there just isn't one. And, you talk about the acid reflux medications, the PPIs, like, those were never, that's another drug I sold. Those were never intended to be used long-term. And they're being used very long-term. And those cause a lot of issues too. And oftentimes they make the issue worse because again, they're not treating the problem. So yeah, it's an issue for sure.
Well, let's talk about breathing. Everyone breathes.
Yeah.
It's like the book Everybody Poops. Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. We're all breathing right now. And people say, I was holding my breath. And people say that, when you say to them, like, breathing is good for you, they're like, yeah, no, duh. Mm-hmm. Like, we need to breathe. But like, there is all sort, like the reason that like breathing practices, these ancient breathing practices are like still around is because they're beneficial in some way, which is why they're still around. It's like why it's a thing. So talk us through like, I know nasal breathing is very important. I use a neti pot pretty regularly to make sure all that kind of stays open where I can breathe through my nose. What is the problem with chronic mouth breathing, and what can you do to fix that problem? Yeah.
I mean, I love that you already pointed it out, is so many people are breathing through their mouth and not through their nose. That's one of the big issues for sure. To kind of bring it back even a little further, breath is just one thing that, like you said, like we don't think about. We say, oh yeah, we're breathing, I'm good, but it's not that simple, because while the breath is happening in the background, thankfully we don't have to think about it. It just happens by itself. That's beautiful. But when it is under, it's happening involuntarily under the influence of the autonomic nervous system. But when that system gets hijacked by stress, your breath does as well. And that's when things can get thrown out of balance. So when your breathing gets hijacked by stress, it starts to become erratic and irregular, and it becomes rapid and shallow. And sometimes you may find that you're holding your breath and you didn't even realize it. Well, what's the problem with that? Well, there's a really big problem with that, because it throws all the other rhythms out of balance as well that are that keep your body functioning optimally. So our body works on a lot of different rhythms: think digestion and heart rate and blood pressure and circadian rhythms, and all of these different in our body work in this rhythm. And when our breath gets thrown out, it affects all these other functions too. And, so many people today are dealing with chronic stress and anxiety and depression and all of these, mental health and emotional imbalances. And when the breath is kind of out of whack or irregular and erratic, that just perpetuates the stress cycle. So if you're feeling anxious and you're breathing in a very anxious way, then that just perpetuates the anxiety. Right. It doesn't help it, right? So we really have to tune into our breath, become aware of our breath, and then start breathing consciously and properly. So you talk about mouth breathing versus nose breathing. So some of the things that we really want to do is first become the observer of your breath, just tune into it and observe how you're breathing, and don't try to change it. Just observe what your habitual breathing pattern is, because chances are you've been breathing this way for decades. Right. And so now we need to fix it. And it's not going to get fixed overnight. It's going to take practice and changing habits. And so once you start to observe how you're breathing, and you can say, okay, like my chest is rising and falling, or I'm breathing really fast, or my shoulders are moving a lot, or my belly's not moving at all when in fact it needs to be, or I'm breathing through my mouth, I'm not breathing through my nose, those types of things. We can start to say, okay, like these are the things that need to be fixed. And so when we want to breathe really for longevity, right, and for health and wellness, we want to breathe through our nose. Because nostril breathing is so important for a lot of reasons, but just a couple is that when you breathe through your nose, that filters the air that you're breathing in, right? So we want to breathe in clean air. So breathe through your nose, because that's like your natural filtration system.
Right.
And
Sometimes
it
those
also
filters will grow really long and they'll stick out.
Well, I was going to say sometimes it just filters through Mark's disgusting boogers, and then
Trim those up.
Yes, those little long ones, you can trim those, but keep most of those hairs in there. But yeah, so it's filtering the air. It's also warming and moisturizing the air. So if you're someone that breathes through your mouth, and especially at night, you may notice this at night if you're a mouth breather at night and you wake up with a dry mouth, that's a sign that you're breathing through your mouth when you're sleeping. Okay. So that can, when you're mouth breathing and not breathing through your nose, that can cause a lot of congestion issues. Again, like it can contribute to high blood pressure. It can disrupt a lot of functions in your body when you're mouth breathing. Also, when you're nose breathing, that helps stimulate the production of nitric oxide, which is a wonderful, it really acts as kind of an anti-pathogenic. So it helps fight off pathogens that may enter through the air. And so when you're breathing through your mouth, you don't get that stimulation of the nitric oxide that helps fight pathogens. But when you breathe through your nose, again, that's like boosting that nitric oxide production. So that's another really wonderful thing about breathing through your nose. And so that's just a couple of benefits of nostril breathing. There are definitely more, but, so the first thing is breathe through the nose. The second thing is, breathe from the diaphragm. So most of us use only about 30% of our lung capacity, which is really alarming when you think of it. Like we have these amazing respiratory system, and we're not using it to its fullest potential. So that's because we're breathing mostly through our chest and the upper chest, the upper lungs. So when you really start to focus and breathe from the diaphragm, that means your belly is expanding. Don't suck in your stomach all the time, let that belly relax, breathe in, let that belly expand, let that diaphragm really expand. And this may take practice too. Like the longer you do this, the easier it will be to take a really full breath. At first, it may be difficult.
Right.
So you're breathing from the diaphragm, and that will allow you to also breathe from the lungs. So not just the upper chamber, but the full lung capacity. So the diaphragm up into the chest. And then we want to be breathing in a consistent rhythm, not erratic, not irregular. So it's not like take a big breath in and then breathe out really fast and then hold your breath and then take a really quick breath. It's breathe in a rhythm, like, in for 4 and out for 4, or in for 6 and out for 6. And as you practice this, you won't have to be counting all the time, but it'll just become natural. And we need to be breathing slowly too, 5 to 6 breaths per minute. And for most of us, we're doing double that or more.
Yeah, I would say way more. I mean, I don't know for sure, but 5 to 6 sounds like nothing.
Yeah, it's really slow compared to what most of us are used to.
I'm gonna put a stopwatch on mine real quick and tell you how many breaths in the next minute I take.
I haven't done this in a while. I need to start doing it again. Well, I'll start doing it again if you think this is good. So like I used to set a timer, and this was part of my mindfulness practice, and I would try to see how long I could stretch out 10 breaths, like an in and out is 1. And my record was in the 11 to 12 minute range. So I'm doing 1 breath all the way in, all the way out, in averaging more than a minute per cycle. Is that a good thing to do to really? I always feel really great after I do something.
That is so good. I love that you just kind of did that on your own. I actually I did a Kundalini yoga class recently, and we practiced the 1 minute breath, and it was really difficult.
Yeah.
I was like, this is hard, because making one breath last a full minute is really challenging. So if you can do that, you're doing well.
My record, Rick, breath holding, like in the summertime when we're swimming and stuff, I was like trying to hold my breath. I got up to like over 2 minutes this past summer.
I love it. I love it.
Okay, so the last 1 minute I've taken. How many did you say? 5 to 6 is the goal for the minute,
5 to 6 breaths a minute. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. I did 14.
Oh, that's not good.
So what does that mean?
You're going to the hospital tonight. You're about.
See you guys later. I'm gonna have to take the cat to the hospital for drinking paint, and now I'm gonna have to go to the hospital for breathing too much. What does that mean? It doesn't feel like I'm breathing fast. It doesn't feel like I'm breathing hard. It just felt like I was breathing like normal. What does that mean?
That probably means you're breathing shallow, right?
Yeah, you're likely breathing shallow. You're not using your full lung capacity. It just means that it's something to be aware of.
It could be the way I'm sitting too. I'm sitting at
down.
the edge of my chair so that I can sit up straight for the video. So I'm a little bit kind of strained up.
Overexerting yourself, are we?
Yeah, just sitting down. This whole sitting down thing.
It's a challenge,
Jesus.
right? Yeah.
So have you seen the thing where you can like tape your mouth shut while you're sleeping?
I think Mark should do that right now. Do it right now.
Shut up.
Tape it up right now.
I totally think it's worth doing.
But will it get on my mustache and beard?
Yeah, it will. So get real mouth tape.
Oh.
Use like duct tape or anything like that that's going to rip your skin off. Like use mouth tape. You can buy
There's
it on
such a thing
Amazon.
called mouth tape?
There is a thing called mouth tape. And it actually has a little slit in it. What?
I said it's mother-in-law, but obviously.
Yeah, so mouth tape is great. And I'll be honest, I've tried it and for some reason or another, it doesn't stay on me. Like maybe it's because I put on like my moisturizer, my oils at night before bed and it doesn't stick, but my husband has used it and it's great. It's a great way to like, if you feel like you're mouth breathing at night to really get out of that habit and use mouth tape. And you can even use it during the day if like you're not having to talk to someone for a period of time and you just really want to focus on nostril breathing, then put it on your mouth while you're working or whatever, because again, it's just retraining old habits, right? And teaching you how to breathe properly again. So yeah, I think mouth tape is a wonderful tool.
I've heard people that have used that obviously you're not aware of how you're breathing when you're sound asleep, but they'll say when they put that on, they wake up and it's like they feel like they've been given a shot of adrenaline or something. And it's kind of sad. It's like, that's how you should feel every morning. Like that's how your body like wants to feel. It's not like, this isn't like a good thing. I mean, well, not it's a good thing, of course, but it's not like some bonus. Like that's status quo. You know, you're just living below the status quo.
Just don't realize, right. Like we get so used to how we feel that we don't think that, we can feel better just by simple changes like that, like changing our breath and using mouth tape at night. So we're breathing through our nose and getting better quality sleep and waking up feeling rested. Like the breath can do so much, I mean, it's this powerful tool that we have within us 24/7. It literally is like our recharging cable.
Well, and we always talk about
that's the whole point. That's the whole point really behind like the Simply Human lifestyle is getting back to doing what our bodies were designed to do. And it sounds like our bodies were designed to breathe in through your nose.
Yep.
Obviously if you're like exerting yourself hard physically or you're being attacked by a lion or something, whatever. But like your normal, sounds like this, you say making simple changes. I think being aware of some of those things, that's one of those simple changes that can help have an impact for people who are trying to pay attention to this stuff. And both people who listen to this podcast, both of them will be able to breathe through their nose now and feel better.
So one of the things about, I get the question a lot. It's like, where do I start? Right. Okay. Well, let's go and look at the things that like that make up most of your time, right? Like they say like you can go a long time without food, but you can't go a long time without water. So in that equation, like water is more important initially than food, right? Sleep, right? You're supposed to sleep 8-9 hours of your whole day. Sleep is pretty important percentage as far as like what you're doing. The breath wins, right?
Oh yeah,
breath is the overall winner. If you
do it 100% of the time.
Well, and also like what will you die first without?
Breath. Exactly.
Breath wins is the all-time most important thing. So like we should pay attention to it. let's see. Oh, well, what is intermittent hypoxia? I saw that in like one of the questions that they sent us, and I was very interested. I think I kind of know, but explain that.
I think I kind of know means I don't know at all. So please tell me.
I don't know how that works. I children. Sorry.
Oh my goodness.
I know what it is. I'm just not going to tell him. I'll let you do it.
Okay, there you go.
All right. I
Join the club, Mark.
will offer this information up.
Thank you.
So intermittent hypoxia, it is breath holding. So it's holding your breath. It's breath retention. It's some of the stuff that you were talking about, and it's been used for a long time. So the ancient yogis and pranayama experts back in the day, they had another term for it. But even they knew the benefits of these breath retention phases on health and longevity. But now we have the science to show the benefits. And so intermittent hypoxic training has been used to treat a range of disorders, including high blood pressure, diabetes, emotional disorders, Parkinson's disease, and more. And it ultimately is just holding your breath for a certain period of time. And sometimes we may need to work up to this. So I do this in my breathwork classes. So most of the breathwork that I'm teaching in a class is this rhythmic diaphragmatic breathing, nostril breathing. But then we go into periods of breath retention or intermittent hypoxia. And you actually reach the state of intermittent hypoxia when you've held your breath for at least 90 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So
what's your record?
People can't. I really don't know what my record is. I know I've held it for over 2 minutes, maybe long. I don't know at this point. I usually don't have like a timer when I'm doing my breath work. So I'm not sure. But
she doesn't have a spreadsheet with all this filled out like you do, Mark, of like January 18th, I held it.
But I will tell you, I can hold my breath so much longer now than when I first started. It's amazing how quickly you can improve, just after a few sessions.
Yeah.
But what we're doing here is that we are creating a low oxygen environment in the body. And so it ultimately makes you more efficient in producing energy.
Right.
And we're putting a positive stress response on the body over time with practice. This makes you more resilient to stress, which we can all benefit from. So things that used to trigger you don't trigger you as much anymore. You don't go into that sympathetic fight or flight survival mode as often as you might have otherwise. And this is also a really beautiful time to access your subconscious mind. You are able to fall into a deep meditative state during this breath holding phase. You can actually begin reprogramming imprints, rewiring the brain, and reprogramming like false beliefs and habits that may have been holding you back living at your best potential. And so it's a really, really special time in the breath work that has a whole host of health benefits.
I did a conference workshop, something or other, and we did a deal where like normal breathing, breathe in, breathe out. You're not trying to breathe in way too much. You're not trying to push all the air out. You're just normal breathing. And then when you get to the bottom of the breath, the exhalation is when you get to that natural point where you're about to start breathing in, you just stop and hold your breath. Yeah. And however long you can hold your breath is like if it's 20 seconds, that's not great. If you're like in a stress-free, like a healthy state, you're supposed to be able to hold your breath for like 45 to 50 seconds or more in that, just without having to go like and really like breathe in. So there's all sorts of little tips and tools like that, I'm sure.
Yeah, there are. I love that. So and when I do the breath work, it's something very similar. So we're breathing in beats to rhythm to the rhythm of music. So I play music in the breath work, and it has breath counts and breathing sounds in it, which is really cool. And that really just helps retrain you on how to breathe in this consistent rhythm. And so a lot of times we'll be breathing in for 4 and out for 4, or different rhythms, different counts. And then after doing that for 4 or 5 minutes, I'll say take a deep breath fully in and fully out, and we exhale everything from the mouth. And empty the lungs, like exhale everything from the lungs and hold your breath. And this is that intermittent hypoxia, and you just hold your breath for as long as you can. And since we've been breathing in this rhythm, we've built up a lot of oxygen in the body. So you can often find that you can hold your breath for longer than you may have expected. And then after, usually that breath hold phase is, I usually wait for at least 2 minutes. And I tell people, if you need to take a breath, take a quick breath in and out, and then continue to hold. But we'll usually do that breath hold for 2 minutes and then take a big breath fully in. And we hold our breath on the inhale for not quite as long, but it's another breath hold on the inhale. And then we go back to the rhythmic breathing. So
Awesome.
It's really cool.
Okay, I can't believe this. It's 9:00. We're out of time, so I'm gonna rapid fire some questions for you, and maybe just a couple. What is? I know you have some book recommendations. Actually, I think your latest blog post was like a bunch of books that you had recommended. So what is, like, if somebody were to say, like, I'm falling off a cliff, I'm going to have time to read one book as I'm falling down the cliff to my death.
The book should be How to Survive Falling Off a Cliff.
Oh, yeah.
In that situation, very obviously.
It should also be very short because I'm falling.
One word.
Yeah. Nah! Okay.
The title of the book is
Exactly.
So what's a book, like, what's your go-to book? That like you like, I've got Anti-Fragile is like the book that I'm like, you got to read this book. Well, what is your book? You like
awesome. If I had to pick one book, it would be The Untethered Soul. And if you read my latest blog post, which literally came out today, so I'm super impressed that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
This is just a book that truly transformed me on a soul level. It asks a lot of deep questions. It's an incredible read. It's truly enlightening, and I recommend it for everyone.
The Alchemist is another one that I recommend.
Oh God, that's a good one too. Man,
it's so
really
hard. Short. I know. For book people, it's hard. Okay, and then finally, what is something that you enjoy about life, or something you do that makes life more enjoyable? Like just a hobby, or just something that gets you fired up that you just like can't wait to go do.
I love to dance.
And dancing. What kind of-
Mark won a dancing competition in Abilene, didn't you? Isn't that true? Oh, he's gonna go get us the trophy or something.
Oh wow!
They did this ridiculous, like, what's the Dancing with the Stars show?
Yeah.
They did one like that in Abilene, and Mark was a part of it.
No way.
I don't know what he's going to get. Okay, well, he's giving us the hang on a sign.
Caveat.
He had a complete fool out of himself. Oh, I'm sorry. Mark is back. Oh, I apologize. Yeah.
Caveat: I was best male dancer out of 6 bad male dancers. So that's like saying you have the fastest minivan. Here's my trophy.
The fastest minivan.
I love it. Wow.
That is insane. That is what they gave you for coming in first of that thing?
That's a serious trophy.
That is not joking.
Like,
okay. So you might be a... Oh my goodness.
I've never showed this on the show before.
Where do you okay, hang on. This begs the question. Where do you have that displayed? Like in the living room?
Right above my bed, right here. I've got it.
All to see.
I've got it out in my garage.
Oh my god.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. They gave you this huge trophy and it's in your garage.
Shut up.
You need to display that somewhere, like on your mantle or something.
I used to have it in my office, but maybe anyway. Okay. I think that's, and then finally,
where can we find you?
Yeah.
Promote yourself.
JenBroyles.com. It's going to be in the show notes. And I think if you go to JenBroyles.com, there's essential oil stuff. There's the blog. There's the About You. There's the Sacred Breath community, which we didn't even get to talk to. So go check that out. I think all of your social media and everything can be found at JenBroyles.com. Is that like the easiest thing to tell people?
That is the easiest thing. Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you for doing this. This was awesome. I really appreciate you. This has been so great. And maybe we'll have you back on because we didn't even, I think there's like a 10-minute, kind of a preview, kind of little tutorial that you can do. I say we have you back on and let's do that as part of the show.
Let's do it. I would love that.
So I'm excited. So we'll set that up. I really appreciate it. And you have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
You're listening to the Simply Human podcast.
That was Jen Broyles. She was great. We haven't actually talked to her yet, Time Travel Talk.
We're assuming it's going to be great.
It'll be great.
We're going to talk to her in 1 minute, but then the magic of editing, we're going to spice it all together.
She seems like a nice guy. That's all we know. But I do have, I'm sure we'll talk about breathing.
If we don't talk about essential oils, I think we'll be good.
Well, we are going to talk about essential oils. She has some essential oil stuff, but it's not. She's
I'm
not
just joking. I'm
kidding.
joking.
Okay, well, because I'm sure we'll probably talk about. Well, we're talking about nasal breathing very quickly. This is an article from millenniumsmiles.com, the importance of nasal breathing from March of 2019. Researchers found that breathing through your mouth means that you miss out on much of the oxygen, up to 90% your body needs to support your organs, tissues, and cells. Without this oxygen, you face the risk of damage to your body and tissue and cell death over long periods. Living with reduced oxygen levels can leave you at risk of developing severe illness, even chronic health conditions such as heart disease, rheumatoid arthritis, diabetes. Breathing through
what if you have whistle nose?
Then you're not breathing through your nose enough. You breathe through your nose. You are breathing more air into your lower lungs. That's a problem if you got that going on. Also, it activates your parasympathetic nervous system when you breathe through your nose. Think about a baby nursing.
Oh yeah, I will.
Think about the most like serene, calm human is a baby with a big old, because they're
I'm sorry, but I don't know. I wasn't following.
They're breathing through their nose, right? And it's totally relaxed. When you are being attacked by a bear, right? You're and then you throw up if you're watching.
Or you become a man and you try to punch the bear in the face.
Right. So just catch yourself. Just as Jen is in the waiting room here, we're going to go back. So as you are throughout the day, start noticing when you're just sitting there at your computer, driving, if you're breathing through your mouth, stop. Breathe through, shut your mouth, breathe through your nose. At night is also very critical to breathe through your nose. That's why those breathe right strips can be very helpful. You need to be breathing through your nose when you're sleeping. It's a game changer. Google it, research it. That's the tip of the week.
Okay. Awkward dismount.
That's going to do it for this edition of the Human Podcast.
And remember,
it's like, okay, it's time. Also, you need to be punished for this in some way. So until next time, enjoy yourself.